Hi, my name is Ahmed Mohammed. I'm the lecturer of cardiology at Ain Shams University. Today, I'll be explaining my experience about the MRCP Part 1 written. I hope this helps you in passing this exam from the first try, as I did. I'll be talking about what to expect in the exam, how to prepare for it, and how much time do you need to prepare for the exam. So, the Part 1 written focuses mainly on basic medicine, particularly the guidelines in straight questions, not problem-oriented like Part 2, and it also targets the basic sciences, particularly anatomy, pharmacology, physiology, biochemistry, and the infectious disease. But the most important among those are the pharmacology and the infectious disease. Okay, if you want to start studying by reading for the exam, you got two sources. The first is the MRCP only notes book, and the other is the MRCP bullets. And this book is prepared by a friend of mine. The MRCP only notes and the MRCP bullets both summarize the past medicine information, questions, and notes. Bear in mind that MRCP only notes you need to check the edition because the book has many editions and some of them were not updated. However, MRCP Bullets is a new book and is a fresh one, and it doesn't need updates. What if I want to skip the reading part? It's okay if you don't want to read before starting to solve the questions. It's okay. You can start solving the questions right away, but if you're going to skip the reading part, you have to read the neurology part. I think you need to read the neurology. It will make your life much easier in solving the questions. On the other hand, if you want to start to read, don't make this reading part take much of your time of preparation for the exam. It's a maximum of 1 or 2 weeks. What about solving the questions? There are 3 available question banks, and the most important one is the past medicine, because the past medicine is the closest question bank to the exam regarding the presentation of questions and the type of questions. It's better to use it online. You may solve it once or even twice if your time permits, specifically the parts with defects on it. If you have bad feedback on some of the parts of medicine, it's better to solve them again. And the notes below the questions are the cornerstone of your study. They are the studying part, the reading part. You can either read them from the site online or can summarize in the notes of your own. And this is what I did. I summarized them in written notes of my own. What about the past test? Do I need the past test? Okay, if you need something from the past test, it is the past papers. Questions from the previous exams. It will bring you closer to the exam and give you an information about what to expect in the exam. So if I have time after finishing past medicine, I can solve the past papers. And even offline, you don't need to subscribe to past test to get it. Some people upload them offline. And what about the rest of the past test? If you still got time after solving past medicine and past papers, you may solve the rest of the past test, but it is not essential. First, it's very expensive and you don't need them. You only need past medicine and the past papers. This is what I did before my exam. What about on examination? I don't recommend solving on examination before part 1 because the form of questions in on examination is different from the exam. It contains very long cases with very long scenarios, too much investigations, too much lab tests. And this form of questions is more like part 2. It's not like part 1. Part 1 has more short and direct questions. Okay, so our main source of study will be past medicine. Study those notes by your heart. Check your progress and feedback if you are using the site online. And as I told you, you may need to summarize the notes in written notes. It will make the information much easier to use. Specifically, if you have certain defects, you can summarize only the parts that you have defects in. What about the required time? If you are freshly graduated and you recently finished your primary medical education, you already have good knowledge for the medicine and the basic sciences, 2 to 3 months will do. And if you also are practicing medicine regularly, 2 to 3 months will do. But bear in mind, 2 to 3 months will be enough if you are dedicating all your spare time for studying the exam, solving the questions, summarizing the notes, and so on. If you have a fresh start or your time is very narrow, you are working full-time, long shifts or so, and your spare time is little less than 4 hours a day, so you may need 4 to 6 months to prepare for the exam. That was all. Thank you. I hope you pass this exam from the first time and make it with a high score. Thank you.